Welcome to another episode of the Monster Madness podcast. I am Matt. Pretty excited. I'm joined by a couple people that are starring in an upcoming movie called The Boy from Below. Boy from Below. I apologize. If you listen to my old podcast, the podcast of terror, the name PJ Starks will ring a bell. PJ is the executive producer on this movie, and he reached out to kind of make this happen on short notice, and I was more than happy to oblige. He's always been a sweetheart to me. He was nice enough to provide three of the cast from the upcoming movie. We have Spooky Madison. Now I'm going to go around the horn. I'd like you to introduce yourself, and then, as I mentioned, you got to tell me what you had for dinner because we're a big food family here. So, Spooky, pleasure. Thank you for coming here. Please introduce yourself and what did you have for dinner?
Hello, my name is Spooky Madison, and I have not eaten dinner yet.
Well, what do you plan to have for dinner?
I just got word that my girlfriend ordered me sushi, so that should be here after the interview.
Perfect. Now, favorite sushi roll?
Pretty basic. I like the veggie roll because I am a vegetarian.
Fair enough. Hey, you could have just said I like to eat rice, but I put it into a ball and I call it sushi. There's no wrong answers here.
That is fair.
Perfect. Next, we have Jack Norman. Same questions, buddy.
All right, so I had leftover pizza for dinner. It was La Rosa's, Cincinnati pizza place.
Nice.
And I play the Wicked One in this movie, and I played the Wicked One in the original as well. Not the second one, though. I was not part of that movie.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And Kamarra, Cole, you are the last one up.
Hey, Kamarra, and I play Becca, and I am going to have ramen and yakitori. So I'm going to go get some meat and veggies on a stick and eat a giant bowl of spicy ramen. Haven't had it in a long time, so I'm very excited. I'm in San Diego right now, so
nice.
super stoked.
Nice. Awesome. Well, once again, thanks everyone for being here. I have minimal information on this movie, and I'm leaving it up to them to make sure that we don't say anything that they are not supposed to say. Because from my understanding, is this has not even shot yet, correct?
Nope.
No.
Which is wild when PJ reached out and was like, "Hey, we want this to come out in a week." And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, for you, anything." And then I asked a question. He goes, "Well, it doesn't shoot till March." I'm like, "Okay, I don't understand movies. I don't know." So, is it normal for you guys to be doing like press stuff before the movie's even shot?
This is it is normal, but this is kind of an interesting situation. Right now, we're gearing up for something called Wicked Week, which is going to be, I believe, next week, where all of these interviews that we are doing will be released throughout that week, along with new cast announcements and like little tidbits of information about the story that we wouldn't normally, I think, reveal. But the story has been evolving so much that I think that that's why we are doing press now, because it's going to be kind of a bigger deal than what I think everyone realizes.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I had seen PJ mention this kind of over time. I believe that there was an Indiegogo that is still active. You can still give money. I did that earlier last week, I believe. So it kind of seemed like was it originally supposed to be filmed by now, and then it got pushed back, or is this always has it always been the plan?
It did plan to shoot, but I think as the budget was made, they kind of got more ideas and wanted a little more since it was, fulfilled so fast that he wanted to do bigger stuff. So now he's adding more people, cast members. He got a bigger budget, so now he wanted to make things better. So he pushed it back to next year, just so he could hopefully make it better than it was going to even be. So,
which is nice. I mean, it's nice to hear that we ended up with a larger budget. Was the plan is to then make it bigger, make it better, make a better product instead of just sticking with the timeline and pushing it out. So, Jack, you did mention you were in the original and not the second one, but you're now in this one also. So I guess for anyone listening who isn't aware, this is a reimagining, is my understanding, of the original movie written or made by Tori Jones. I guess in the constraints of what you can and can't say, I guess, how do you feel about the original and then kind of coming back?
We actually shot the first one twice. Someone, and I won't say that person's name, when we finished the first one the first time, deleted the footage when they went to transfer it. So the whole film was deleted. So we had to reshoot the whole first movie. So that was just a little something I remember real quick. Like I said, I didn't have a part in the last one, and I've actually never watched the last one. But I heard stuff, and no offense to anyone, wasn't a super fan of the idea, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. And I just had a kid, literally a month before I think they started shooting, so it was just not going to work out. But I'm excited for this one because Tori was originally making a different movie that this was originally a different movie that he had a script idea for, and then he thought, well, maybe I should make this, bring back the Wicked one and redo it with this movie. So he asked me, he said he didn't want to do it without me being the Wicked one again. So I was like, well, tell me. I already kind of knew what the script was, a little bit, but I'm like, how you going to make that this? And he said, well, we're going to change some stuff. So then I'm like, all right, but I want to be in charge, not in charge, but I want to give you a little bit of ideas of what I think. And you could tell me, no, what, the Wicked One's going to look like, how he's going to act in this one, maybe some of his weapons and stuff he uses in some of the kills. And so we sat down 2 or 3 times now where I just randomly called him and like, yo, are you free right now? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I call him, it'd be like middle of the night, midnight. And I'd be like, yo, what if he looks like this a little bit? And I'd send him a picture and he'd be like, dude, it's so crazy you said that. So he'd send me a picture back. Like, I just sent this to the art guy. And I'm like, no way, dude. That's like the same thing I just sent you. It's crazy. And same thing with the weapons. I was like, yo, I was just thinking like, instead of just having a knife this time, what if I have like, you know, 3 different weapons that I use? And I sent him like pictures of that stuff. And he was excited about that too. And then I think it's mentioned, so pardon me if it's not, but there's a vehicle he uses in this one. Because in the last one, when I was in it, I came up with the idea like on set, yo, we're on a horse farm. What if he rides a horse? And they're like, well, do you know how to ride a horse? And I was like, no, but the girl I kill in this next scene is an equestrian. I think that's how you say it. So she could teach me. We got like 3 hours, right? It was like, she could teach me. So he was like, let me ask the guy who owns the horses. And they were like, yeah, he knows how to ride. So I learned how to ride a horse in like 3 hours. Literally, that's all I did for 3 hours. And it worked out. The horse loved me. And it was a cool scene, but we didn't get to do much with it. But in this one, he's wants him to have like a vehicle. So we kind of talked about what that's going to look like and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
Nice.
Typically, I would be like, nah, because I've done a remake before of something I was already a part of, but I wasn't the killer, and then that didn't work out very well, so we don't talk about that movie. So, but I'm excited about this one.
Awesome. It's always nice to hear when people involved are as excited. Like watching you get pumped to talk about it, it makes me, as someone who's excited to see it, more excited. But so Kamarra and Spooky, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were not involved in the first iteration of this movie, correct? This is your first foray.
Correct.
So I have to assume you've watched it. I guess, how do you feel about being an outsider and now an insider in the story and what's being made?
I actually won't watch the original until after we've done things because I don't want to be I don't want to have any like preconceived notions about what it is that like I'm there to do. So I want to like watch everything afterwards and then kind of like just take it all in. And since I'm new to the story and new to the team as well, because I have not worked with Tori before. This will be my first time. And like I was talking to him this morning about like script and everything. And I'm excited to see all of the characters come together because there's such highs and lows in it. Like some really, really cool emotional like arcs and so I don't want to know, like, I mean, I know and I'm familiar with the original, but I don't really want to know the particulars about it. I just kind of want to breathe life into this with everybody else and come to it with fresh eyes. Because it's kind of hard when you remake something if you're so familiar with the source material. I don't know. I just don't want that in my ear. I want to like go in and see like what everyone is bringing and just react off of that and just have a really good time with it. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm just excited about the story and all of the characters, and I'm excited to hear some of the new folks that are coming on as well, and excited to work with Spooky again because she is amazing, and we have such a good time. Had such a good time with her on set, so it's always fun when you can come back to a genre that you really love, and then be there with people who work just as hard as you, and like just want the most awesome finished product. So I'm stoked, 100%.
And Spooky, you were kind of nodding your head along here, but I didn't want to make sure that if you had anything else to add to that, please do.
No, I think, yeah, hit the nail on the head there. I am really excited. I have seen the original. So the last time I worked with Tori was on Phantom Fun World, and one night after set, he showed us the original. And I mean, it's not my kind of horror, what he did with that, which is whatever. But coming in to this reimagining as a character that didn't actually exist before, and being able to kind of make a home within this universe as someone brand new, I think is going to be really special, because from what I know about what's going to happen with this movie, there, like Cole said, there is going to be a lot of highs and lows with these emotions and these characters. And I am allowed to say that we have another co-star. His name's Dylan Hughes. He plays a character called Big Dan. And Cole, who plays Becca, will be helping my character basically find the love of her life among being stalked by Mr. Jack Norman. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Yes. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and what's even cooler is that this film takes place in 1995, and my character, Quinn, is queer. So we get to kind of explore that era of the LGBTQ community.
Which was a different time. I'm not sure of anyone's age, but I was alive and cognizant in 1995, and it was a very, very different time to be alive.
Yeah.
I actually remember one, and I still know him to this day, but he didn't care that he was gay, so I kind of remember how that was. But yeah, so that's kind of weird that you say that, but
It's true, though. It's true. We've come quite a long ways as a country, and then the opposite direction, a number of other. But well, we don't want to cover that one here.
Yeah. I have two moms, and I had two moms back in the 90s, and their lives were difficult. Especially when it comes to what I think is really special about this is that while we are now in 2023 and what will be 2024 when we film, my moms did not have representation on screen. And so to be able to kind of be that representation, even though we are now in the future, I think is going to be really cool. And especially in the horror universe, because you kind of think about it, like classically, the first people to die are who? The black character, the gay character. Exactly.
Well, look at us. Look at us right here.
Yep.
Look at us
Absolutely.
running.
Yep. So I think this is going to be very special. Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about horror is like as we move as we progress, and as we just make these cool stories, we create such amazing characters that are just not flat anymore. Like, what a cool time to be able to come into horror and be a queer character, be a woman of color, and know that I'm not going to be in there and be like, oh, hold on, it says I need to be sassy and I need to do a lot of this and like get my like slang on, like we're becoming these beautiful multifaceted characters, and that's like amazing to see, and to not have to defend like some like token like something or some language that would be like just not becoming. It's very cool, like the past, especially with like the past couple like movies that like I said, I was on a previous movie with Spooky, and we just were like, it was cool, like they were two again, woman of color, and like we were both like, I was playing a lesbian in the movie, and I'm like, wow, I'm a lesbian and I'm a woman of color. I'm like, this is cool. Like, how often do you get to see that? Like, you don't. And if it is, it's like a caricature of the person. So it's like, it's very cool to be in a time where there's like awesome horror coming out, and it's not just awesome horror, but there's awesome stories and characters for women, and like strong characters. That's baller. That is so baller.
And it's I was before the other two hopped on. Kamarra and I were talking, and I explained it. So I live in rural Wisconsin, like cheese as fuck. Like I buy Green Bay, everything shuts down when the Packers play, kind of type stuff. And my co-host Erica, who couldn't be here tonight, but I've talked to her a bunch about this as things happen, because my goal in life is to just not make anyone uncomfortable. I just don't like, I don't mind. Be you. Do whatever you want. So when I see things and I'm like, I don't get why this is such a big deal, because it doesn't change anything to me. So hearing the two of you talk about that and things that she's explained to me as a stubborn adult male, it's fucking incredible how we're,
Yeah.
expanding things, and there's more representation, and everyone's able to see themselves in a character and see themselves in situations that they normally couldn't, that were generally just 30 something white dudes. And like you both
Yeah.
said, the queer person or the colored person was always the first one to go, and now that's not happening anymore. So it's really amazing, because it opens up so many doors. It really allows for a lot more angles and different ways for things to play out, because everyone is expecting one of the major tropes to happen first, and we just don't have to do that anymore. So that's awesome. Kind of shift a little bit away from the movie, because everyone at one point had mentioned their love of horror. So something that I always really get curious of, and actors in a horror movie, I'm kind of curious what your background in horror is. How'd you get into it? If you have a favorite movie, there's no, if you don't watch horror, that's fine. Like, because that's usually my favorite thing, is someone who's like, I act in all these horror movies, but I actually don't even watch it. So I guess I'm curious. Um, you guys can fight for who goes first. I don't know.
Spooky, you're first.
So I have always loved horror. One of my very first memories is seeing Scream 1995, actually. Kind of walking in on my cousins watching it and hiding behind a couch and continuing to watch it when I knew I wasn't allowed to. And so I I mean, ultimately, I think my favorite horror movie is probably the Scream franchise as a whole. I like how meta it is, which is great because my character is actually a horror nerd. And it is this movie, The Boy from Below, is actually very meta. It does play in a lot of tropes, but in a very self aware kind of way. Um, and honestly, I kind of fell into the horror genre of acting randomly. And it turns out I look good covered in blood, and I like to cry and scream. So I think that's kind of where my path has led me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jack,
I'll go.
tomorrow. There you go.
Well, it's probably hard to guess who I like the most.
I mean, you gave it away. He's wearing a Michael Myers shirt for those that are unable to see him.
But I actually grew up with a mom that just loved scary movies. So I probably saw Chucky and Michael Myers and all that. I was probably like fucking 3. I'm sorry if we're not allowed to cuss.
No, fuckity, fuck. It's fine. It's
All
fine
right,
for all.
just make sure. But
Nice.
I mean, I guess I didn't really know about Michael Myers until later, because when I was a kid, all we knew was Jason, hockey mask. So I probably saw the white mask when I was 3 or 4 or 5, thinking, that's just Jason. But I think in '96, right before or right around the Scream time, the 6 movie came out, 95, 96. And my mom rented that. I'm like, oh, this is Halloween. Well, isn't that Jason? My mom's like, no, that's Michael Myers. I'm like, boom, scared the shit out of me. And that was it. After that, I was a Michael Myers fan. So always loved all scary movies and Halloween and stuff. But that's when Michael Myers became my favorite. So then, I've always dressed up on Halloween, all that stuff. So I've always loved scary stuff. But I didn't really start working on movies until 2013 on accident, which is kind of how I met Tori. And my goal when I started working on movies was to maybe work on like a Halloween someday, because my favorite, which I did get to do on Halloween Kills. And I almost got to do on 2018 and Halloween Ends, but didn't work out because of the pandemic on the last one. But that's always been my favorite. So, and I don't just work on scary movies, but it's most of my friends make scary movies, so it's just yeah. But I have done other stuff, but that is mostly of what I've done, scary movies.
Yeah, I think I've always grown up and loved like horror in all different facets. Like I used to read Goosebumps, and then I went from Goosebumps to R.L. Stein, and Stein to Christopher Pike, and then John Saul and Stephen King, and then just up the ladder of like stuff. And my first the first movie I ever saw is actually still my favorite, and that's Poltergeist. And it's just like and it's like such a cool movie, and it made me love horror because um it made me look at horror as being just a normal everyday thing. Like horror could be in my next door neighbor's house or even my house, because the home and family in Poltergeist was my family. Like it was just a normal everyday family, and their lives were just so abruptly like turned upside down and inside out. And it scared living daylights out of me. Like I was just so scared forever that I was going to get sucked into a TV. But I've loved it, and I love the like emotional tension that just ramps up throughout that. And then as far as my background, I started in theater, and that's actually like where I've spent the majority of my time, is performing in theater. And then I started doing commercial work, and then I was just like, man, I would love to do horror because I love the genre, and it would be great to be a part of it. And then I slowly started to segue from theater into the horror genre. But I love other things. Like my background is with like improv comedy, so I love comedy. Like I'm doing a Hallmark movie, which is not the as far an opposite as you can get from horror, but I love that as well. So I just like fun roles. Like really, that's what it is. I love fun roles, but horror will always be like my top love. Like it's awesome.
So everyone's had a handful of roles. I guess horror or not, I'm curious what each of your favorite was. Yeah, especially with you in the Hallmark movies. I'm a little curious where this is going.
Ooh, I don't know.
Sorry, it might be I don't, depending on your resume and how everything went, that might be a tough question to answer. But
I don't know if I have a favorite right now, to be honest. I think each role has a little bit of something that is like very special to me, or that I learned from, and that's like my favorite part, is just learning something that I can carry over to the next role. Or maybe it's not even about the role; it's like something I learned that is just like a life lesson, and like I've learned a lot of life lessons, which is cool. But right now I don't have a favorite. I'm so blessed to have had like the roles that I've had, and I just I love like all of them. Like there's a little piece of all of them that's special to me. So I'm not quite there. I'm not quite at a point where I'm like, man, that was this person. If I could go back and play them, but I'm hoping that this is the year that I say that about a couple of the characters.
nice, spooky. Same question.
I think I have to probably answer the same way. I actually leave next week for or on Sunday for a movie called Fiberburn. Not to like throw in another movie, that I'm about to promote, but that script is so fucking good. Like I've never seen a character like my character, who is just like fucked up. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. She's so detailed, and the writer did an amazing job. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I believe that will be one of my top favorite roles, depending, I guess, on how
Yay.
the end product of the movie looks. Uh, But I also really like. I also. I don't know. I have never played a queer role before, especially one with a love interest that ends in a good way or anything like that. So the potential for The Boy from Below, I think, is really high. Um, the casting hasn't been announced yet for my love interest. Her name's Max in The Boy from Below, but there's a lot of really good ideas going on with that. And I think that Quinn is going to be a character that I also look back on and think like that's not a revolutionary character, but that's going to do something for the community, for the horror community, for the indie community, the LGBT community. I mean, I think it's going to be cool. The Boy from Below. So
nice. And then the one that you, what was the name of that one? The one that you have coming
Fiberburn.
up, Fiber
Yeah,
Burn.
that one's been real hush hush. It's not even like on IMDb or anything yet, and I
That's fine. I
don't
just
start
wanted to
filming
write
on
it
Sunday.
down, and the name Fiber Burn, I'm like, I probably got that wrong, so I just wanted to double check. So
Yeah, Fiberburn.
perfect. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that one. Jack, I mean, it sounds like you've done a ton of shit. So what's your favorite?
It's kind of hard to say because some of my favorite roles have not been released yet. I did 2 James Franco movies that filmed here. One I had a bigger role in, which I really liked. It was the characters I play. Well, I played with him are like dirty greaseball type white guys that run like a prostitution thing. I was told it'll come out eventually, but with the whole James Franco thing that happened not too long ago, they haven't put those out yet. But I mean, I played right alongside him, and I really liked that character. Um, but I don't know if we'll ever get to see that. That was called Blood Heist. You can look it up. There's a bunch of stuff on it, and it did go to a festival and stuff like that. And then I guess I should have started with type of characters I like to play. And anything I do, video games, I play a lot of video games or work on a movie. I don't like to play the character I am in real life, unless it was like, I like military roles, cop roles, stuff like that, because I was a Marine Corps I'm a Marine Corps veteran. So I dig that. That one I will do, but I don't want to be like nerd good guy or like just a dad. Something that's lame to me because like in a video game, if they were like you could be the good guy or you could be this mid guy or you can be this evil guy just kills everything. I'm that guy because I'm like, why would I want to do what I did in real life? I'm already doing that. Why not be something else? So I like stuff like that. So I like being the bad guy or um, or the action type thing. I don't like a lot of stuff with like tons of lines. I like to try to talk with my face normally or just expressions. So, but anyways, that role which you might never get to see, and obviously I like the Wicked one, but um, I feel like that's a cop out right now talking about it. But there is a movie that just came out that I really liked, even though I was, just a minor supporting character. But it just had a small theater run across the United States. It was called Alan and the Rulers of the Air. And I'm kind of like, guess, military bodyguard type role for this main character. And I thought it was really cool. And I'm like, well, I didn't even have that much screen time, just 3 or 4 scenes. But when we left the premiere, I had a lot of people I didn't even know were like, man, you were the coolest looking bodyguard and we weren't sure what happened to you at the end. And I won't say what happened to me at the end, but these people were confused. I'm like, yeah, I was actually confused too because what happened didn't happen on screen. They cut it a little different. I'm like, So I don't know if it's why they did that, but I really liked the character. But I mean, it was called Alan and the Rulers of the Air. So hopefully it gets either another run in the theater or it comes out. I think it's supposed to come out on one of the streaming services. So, but that was a military type role, and I really dig that type stuff. So, because I spent 6 years literally doing nothing but training with guns and tactical stuff. You know what I mean? That's so, and I can literally, if you give me something right now, I'll be able to just like I trained yesterday, even though it's been a long time, been years. But it's literally burned into my face and brain, and I can just do it. So I like stuff like that.
You mentioned you were Marine Corps. I do want to thank you for your service. My dad served in the Army so I understand what that means to you guys. So thank you very much for that. You mentioned James Franco. So Kamarra and Spooky, I'm curious if there was, I don't want to say who's the favorite person you've ever worked with, but like we all have people in our respective, fields that we would love to work with. And I'm curious if either of you have had that, or if you're willing to say who that person might be. And then Jack, if you want, we could circle back, but James Franco might be your Mount Rushmore for all I know.
It's not. But
fair enough.
I'm not there yet where I've gotten to a place where I'm like, man, that I've always wanted to work with that person. There may be an opportunity here in the next few years, fingers crossed, to do that, because I have a lot of folks that I love for different reasons, and in different genres, and I'm hoping to like I'd love to do something with Lynn Shay at some point, because she's just so she's so sweet. Like I know her on a non-professional level, and she's just like a sweet person. But it would be cool to do something with her. But then also like I want to work with some of the comedic horror folks, and I don't know. It's just there's a ton of people, and that's the like great thing about time is you have the opportunity to try and like get with all the different, not the heroes, because I don't necessarily want to meet any of my heroes because I don't want to be sad or disappointed. But there's a ton of people that I can still learn from, and those are the folks that I'm excited to work with. And yeah, there's a few coming up, so we'll see if it pans out, and I'm excited about it.
Fingers crossed. Your turn, Spooky.
Probably my very first real feature film that I was in. It was a long time ago. And I was playing a character. I don't even know if that doesn't even matter. I worked with Don Provost Chalkley, who played Waverly Earp in the sci-fi show Winona Earp. I was always a huge fan of them, and I randomly got the opportunity to play alongside them, as a small role, and that was probably like the highlight, because I was really really into this fandom for Winona Earp, because they kind of converged like the LGBT and then the old stories of like Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, and then they made it sci-fi, and it was so cool. So it was a huge honor to be able to be in this movie with this actor. And then because I was in this fandom and I worked with this actor who was a gay character, and it was a huge thing for the community, I started to gain recognition. And that was really cool, because that was like the first kind of instance for me of what having fans was like. I went to a convention that they were at, and I was like saying hi to them, and someone came up to me and asked if I was who I was. That's weird. That's weird when someone's like, "Are you Spooky Madison?" And I was like, "I don't know if I should say yes. What do you know about me?" But I think that was working with them was like the highlight so far. But then, potentially whoever is cast in The Boy, which I can't say much, but I know some secrets, that might be a highlight as well.
Well, you mentioned conventions, and I'm just saying, if any one of the three of you end up at Days of the Dead in Chicago, prepare your livers, because we're going to be drinking. Unless you don't drink, then you'll just watch me be an idiot. But I actually was there last weekend and shared an elevator with Bill Moseley, which was like the pinnacle of. I have him tattooed on my thigh, so I was like, this is kind of a
cool.
Fucking weird thing. Yeah, he heard me talking about how Lou Ferrigno canceled, and I said, someone once called me Fat Lou Ferrigno, and he goes, don't tell him that. And I'm like, oh, you're you.
That was like the first celebrity I ever met.
Lou Ferrigno, or
fuck you in the nicest way possible. I was so pumped to get a picture with him, and then he canceled.
But I was actually like 12, I was supposed to meet Arnold, which I was going to talk about if I talk about my celebrities. And I was like 12.
I love Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Someone promised me I was going to get to meet him, so I'm there with like my movie. And they were like, oh, well, he can. Lou Ferrigno walks up. I actually watched The Hawk with my grandpa all the time. I had no idea who the hell he was. And I was like, no, I don't know who that is. And now I think about it, I'm like, damn, that was so stupid. But I was like heartbroken because I didn't get to meet Arnold. So,
He is numero uno.
but also really quick before I tell the Arnold thing, I didn't get to meet Spooky until Horrorhound recently, and I was excited because she came and talked to me, and I was like, yes, I always wanted to meet her since I kind of followed her stuff, I haven't worked with her. And then halfway through, we're like talking excitedly. Someone interrupts, and I'm like, no, what the fuck is your problem? I'm literally talking to someone. And then she walks away. So I'm like, you motherfucker, you're so rude. Like, I hate that. But it was
Oh
cool to
wait, was
meet
that
her.
at the after party?
Yeah. And I was so mad. I'm like, I literally
I
been waiting
remember
to
that.
talk to her.
I remember that because it was a very attractive female who approached you. So I stepped back.
Oh, no. Well, I don't think it was like that at all. But I was like, Max, I was like talking to you. I was like, really? People? But anyways, so I was excited to meet you for the first time there. And then, um, so my favorite actors I ever worked with, and I have a couple that I still want to someday hopefully meet. But Arnold, I did get to meet. He's my favorite movie of all time, The Terminator, the original, 1984. So I always wanted to meet him, and like I said, when I was 12, I almost got to in Columbus for the Arnold Classic, and didn't get to. Um, well, then in 2014, I think he had a movie filming there, and they needed some like prison guys. So I'm like, hey, I'm in, just in case I might get to meet him. And just so have it, I would be in the cell next to his. So in between takes, they wouldn't open our cells, but they would open his and he would walk around. I'm just right next to him. So he comes and talks to me for like 15, 20 minutes. So that was awesome. But in my scene, I'm like doing push-ups, but like reverse ones. And we did that scene like 50 times. So by the time it was over, I'm like weak. And I'm like, damn, Arnold's going to see me. I'm weak. But at the time I was super built. Not as much now. So that, even though I really, it was just something minor, but my favorite one besides that would probably be Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween Kills. So, which you saw my daughter. That's her name is Lori Moon. She's actually named after Lori from the Halloween movies. So, yeah, those would be my top two that I've met or worked with.
It's funny you mentioned the Arnold Classic, because I used to go with two friends every year, and then the pandemic happened. And most times when people are like, "What? That's a thing?" I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh boy, is it ever a thing!"
Oh boy.
It's also the leading sex trafficking weekend in the world.
Really?
I
I had
can't
no
say I'm
idea.
that shocked.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I've only been the one time. So
Um,
I had
yeah,
no idea.
it was. We'd make a weekend out of it, but it was always fun to watch the like neon orange bodybuilders yell at
Yeah.
restaurants because they couldn't get food because everyone else was also waiting and they were starving because they didn't eat all day. It was a spectacle. Yeah. Or we went to sushi one time and there was a bunch of like the strongmen showed up and we're like, well, now we're not going to get to eat
They get to eat. They're going to
because
eat
they ordered,
everything.
They're all
hundreds and
done.
hundreds of dollars of sushi.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
I don't know what you guys can talk about the movie. I don't want to pry for questions. I guess you know better than I, but I guess what can we talk about the movie, or what do you want to share about it?
I actually have a small tidbit that Tori would like me to share.
Please do.
So I will talk for Tori. This film is meant as a Halloween homage, Jack. And it makes the world of the original Wicked One and the characters more authentic and more rich. It's going to be deeper with its metaphors and themes. So that kind of helps the authenticity. And these are his favorite characters he has ever written. And Tori says, if they ask anything about me, Tori, I can say that Tori has been putting a lot of pressure on himself to get it right and to do it justice. He's overanalyzed and overthought every aspect of this because of what these characters mean to him. It's his baby, essentially, and it's the character, the boy, the Wicked One, is the character that has given him his indie film career. So there's a lot of pressure for him to make this right. I mean, back when they did the original Wicked One, you're working with a certain budget, you're working a certain year. I mean, what year was that, Jack?
I guess 2014.
Okay, yeah. So 10 years have gone by, which means effects have gotten better, crew has gotten better, gear and equipment has gotten better, actors have gotten better. So there's a lot of pressure to make this story what it can potentially be, you know?
Yeah.
He said that he's not worried about critics calling this his gay movie because he has given everybody the opportunity, the actors, an opportunity to bring this movie to a level that a lot of horror or indie horror people are not doing. A lot of slashers are just like gore, kills, shock value. And Tori is a very story driven person. And I'm excited for him because uh, he's basically killing himself to get all of this out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm excited to be stalked by Jack.
It's awesome to hear Tori's take on this.
Mhm.
Like, I feel at this level, you do it for the love of the game. Like, not shameless self promotion, but I play drums in a hardcore band. We don't play for fucking anyone, and everyone's like, "Why do you do it?" I said, "Because that's 30 minutes a month. I don't have to think about my mortgage. I don't
Mm.
have to think about my job. So it's like you do it for the love of the game." So hearing that he's pouring so much of himself into this to make it
Yeah.
what he wants it to be makes me, as a future consumer, far more excited. And then seeing the three of you and how pumped you guys are
Yeah.
and how much you actually believe in the project is so huge to see, especially with this, the what was it, Wicked Week, I believe is what you mentioned
Mm.
is going to be next week. So now I'm a little more excited to like try to hunt down a lot more of what's coming out to understand more, because I mean, not gonna lie to you, about a week ago I knew next to nothing about this movie other than PJ was making it and he would
Yeah.
post pictures once in a while.
Mhm.
So it's been a really fucking cool and fun journey to meet the three of you and kind of understand better of what's coming and what we're in store for. So
Yeah. That's cool though from his point of view too. Like, I don't know if Spooky and Jack feel the same way, but like it's really neat to be working with someone who is like so entrenched in the script. Like I've gotten so many texts where he's like over the past 6 months where he's like, okay, friend, I got to make some changes. He's like, this can be better. Like, I know this can be better. And I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm like, cool, do what you need to do. That's totally fine. And it's cool to have someone who cares so much, not just about an individual character, because sometimes you will get in a place where a director will write for a specific person, like a very specific person, and then all the other characters
Or bland.
kind of fall to the wayside. And then you have this story that is so one sided that you're like, well, where's the like meat of this? Where's the heart and soul of this? Like everything was put for into this one character shining, and there's really nothing else for us to really add past that. So it's very cool to, as a first time person working with him, is to see someone who is just so very invested in making sure that all of these characters are well rounded. And they're not just well rounded as individual characters, but they're well rounded in the way that they interact with each other, like the way in which I interact with the group as an entire um, as an entire being is just very cool. Like it's very much so going to be this like awesome ensemble um, cast, um, and yeah, it's just very neat, and I'm so excited to be on set with him to see him like work and just be a part of something where so much love has been put into it for so long, and like there's like maximum amount of caring like towards the story, towards the creature, like towards like all these like creature like comforts that he wants like happening. So it's really exciting. Like I'm super excited about seeing it all come to life.
So the flip side of Kamarra talking about her first time working with Tori, Jack, I'm curious, since you were in the first one and you've clearly. Have you known Tori prior to the first movie, or did you meet him working on that movie?
So I started working on horror movies, like I said, on accident, total accident.
Mhm.
Found out my friend Roman Josart was making his first movie really close to where I lived back in 2000, like December 2012 or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, you can come to set or something." I was like, "Cool, I'll come check it out." I came to set, and then they were like, "Hey, can you hold this boom mic?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, sure." Um, so, and then a few weeks later, I was like, man, I'm going to make this indie horror page and like promote indie horror films on Facebook. I still have that page. I don't use it because Facebook sucks in that term. Um, but
Mhm.
at the time, it was great, dude. All these people would reach out, random people. Like, dude, back then, none of these, I could point out probably 50 people you guys might know in the indie horror scene that didn't even know each other back then. But we made this. Me and my friend Andrew Moore made this page, and like we met Roman, which then we met Tori, and met all these other people. You might be like, "Holy shit, you got that's how you guys found each other." But yeah, it was that page, and it's insane. But that's how I met Tori. He was promoting his Wicked One movie, and he was looking for someone to play the Wicked One. And someone tagged me and said, "Hey, you should pick." Jack. He's a tall guy, likes scary movies, and he messaged me, considered me, but never heard from him again. He picked some random dude. Probably like 5 months later, I get another message and say, "Hey, we need someone to play the Wicked One," because it didn't work out. So I'm like, "Cool, I'll do it." So that's how I met Tori. For real in real life was when they recasted the Wicked One again. And like I said, we shot that whole film over months and months, and then it got deleted. Um, so that's how I met him. But instead of giving up, and I convinced Tori, I'm like, yo, give me like 1 month. I'll raise enough money that we'll have enough money to reshoot the whole movie, and we'll just use what we already had, like, props, and same actors did it. We recast it, even added a couple different people that couldn't come back from the first one. And we did it. I got all the money. I promoted this whole thing. We got all the money that we needed to re-raise and all that, and boom, been with Tori for, well, I guess just technically one movie, but I have worked with his other friends in their movies and stuff. So
I love that the credentials needed for you to get into horror was be tall and like horror.
It doesn't hurt.
I had never played in any movie really. I did like stuff in school and like drama class and stuff, but like I said, I like to play stuff that I know, and like I've literally acted like Michael Myers every Halloween since I was like, I don't know, 10, or
Mm.
Jason. So, I kind of knew what he wanted and stuff. So, yeah. So that's when I met Tori.
Nice.
And I've actually, I mean, been pretty close to him. I even dated his sister once, um, that I met on set. But, so yeah, I don't know.
Fun.
Been pretty close with his family and still talk to them a decent amount.
Mm.
So now working on the second one, like, how do you feel about that? Now having like a very clearly personal relationship with him and this project and everything, like, does it change anything for you?
I mean, he's talked about it a few times, making a new one, a remake, or a third one, or like we were gonna try to get the Levy brothers from the Terrifier movies. They worked on those. They have a bunch of other movies. I shouldn't say Terrifier movies, but um, they wanted to be part of it and redo it. So none of that worked out. So yeah, I'm excited, but mostly because when I talked to him, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it, but this time, can we do a couple things different? Like I said, I asked if I could be part of the creative process for the Wicked One, and see what you think. Obviously, I'm not just be like, it has to be my way or not. But so far, literally nothing I said has not made Tori like, dude, I can't believe you just said that. So excited. Um, like, you know, not changing too much, but like I had I thought was a better idea, like maybe he should wear, what he should act like. Like I said, some of the weapons he might use, and then me and Tori talked about kills. He's like, I need some more creative kills, stuff like that. So I'm excited. If we stick to that plan, I'm this could be my favorite character. So I think it will make the last one look, well, not the second one. I haven't seen that one. The one before that look, like garbage. Not that it's not good. I enjoy it, but yeah, I'm excited.
No, that makes sense. Spooky, you seem to be kind of like the ringleader in a sense here. Is there anything you wanted to add? Like, I know this is your first time working with Tori, also, but two very different perspectives.
No, I worked with
Um,
Tori on Phantom, and
oh,
yeah, Tori is a great director. Tori knows what he wants and goes beyond, sometimes beyond his limits to try to get something done. Because of, I mean, he takes like the integrity of the film into account always. And he's a great advocate for the actors as well. So I love working with Tori. Um, but I have to agree though with Jack when it comes to telling Tori about your ideas, he's very receptive because my character was not gay. And I said, we should make Quinn gay. And he was like, no, no, Spencer, no, Spooky. We're not going to make a character gay just because you want her to be gay. And I kind of explained to him the social, like importance that could happen if we made this character gay. And I mean, it took him a good 2 weeks to think about it. And he came back and he was like, okay, let's do that. Um, I think it's going to be great, you guys. This is going to be a great movie. And I think it has a lot to do with the passion that has gone into it so far. And I have no doubt in my mind that that passion will follow into actual production and then into post. So,
I'll add on to that. Like I said, Tori's been pretty good about, making changes or like, hey, I don't like this. Like she said, it took him a minute to change his mind. And I've had that issue too on the second one. I was supposed to be the wicked one. Um, but he showed me some of the just things didn't add up for me, obviously, with my daughter. But one of the things that got me was when they showed me the mask for the second one, I'm like, no, that's that's not the mask. What the hell happened? He's like, what do you mean? And he'll laugh about this now, but he got really mad when I said it. But I'm like, I had the original Wicked One mask from the first movie right here. So
fucking
it,
nice.
and they've not been able to recreate this mask. They've tried several times and they haven't been able to do it. But in the second one, when they made it, the nose was like this wide, and it looked like all I called it Gonzo. I'm like, dude, it has like the biggest honking Gonzo nose, dude. It looks like a joke. And the neck wasn't right, like nothing was right. And he was so mad because he's putting all that money on two masks that look like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not wearing that. I'm not. It's so goofy. And then eventually he showed it to more people, and they're like, "What's wrong with the mask? What's wrong with the mask?" And I'm like, "See, I told you." So on this one, that was the first thing I said. I was like, "You will not." I was like, "The mask will. I don't care if I have to send you them this one, and they somehow like copy it verbatim, but it's gonna look good." And I don't know if you guys have seen the mask. I don't know if I think he's teased it on the page, but it's
yeah.
pretty damn close to this, and it looks really freaking good. So I'm stoked about that. But nothing beats the original though. And this
No,
is
that's a
not
good point.
comfortable, by the way. This is literally burlap. There's little pokey, like these things are sharp and it's not fun. I also made one rule. I said there's got to be nose holes in this one because there's none and you can't breathe.
Oh,
So like in the original, something creepy is my mouth is always open in the movie and people are like, that's kind of weird, creepy. I'm like, well, I can't fucking breathe out of my nose, dude. So I'm always like breathing heavy. But he didn't put nose holes in it, by the way. So I'm like, you motherfucker.
you could just make some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might get pissed,
And
but
then
you could just make
and then
some.
it's gonna look weird with like fucking
Two nose holes. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Awesome. Well, is anything else you guys want to cover on the movie that you want to talk about specific?
I wish
know.
I could tell way more. Like I know all this
And that's
lore
why I'm
stuff.
like,
I'm
you
like,
guys
Yeah.
kind of
but I
need you to
can't.
steer this boat a little bit because I don't want to pry and get into unwelcome territory. So, awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. If you guys
Thank
want to go around the
you.
horn and hawk your social medias or whatever, wherever you want people, if you want. And Jack keeps shaking his head. No, he feels about
Try not
the
to.
internet. I do probably.
I'll go.
Spooky and Kamarra.
Um,
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
yeah, I have social media. I really only use Instagram, sometimes Facebook. I use Facebook to post a lot of really stupid memes, so don't go on there. Um, but my Instagram is the Goodbye Ghoul. It's kind of a play on the movie The Goodbye Girl, but it's Ghoul because I am a ghoul, and you can follow me there.
Perfect. Kamarra?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm Kamarra Cole. If you just search that in, you'll see me. And yeah, I like Instagram. I'm not on it as much right now just because life is crazy, but I usually am, and I'm up like looking at 8 billion different ridiculous videos into the night that I should not be looking at. So yeah, I'm on Instagram. Say hello. Send me a very cute cat video if you want.
How about dogs? I think I
I'll
saw
take
Spooky had a
dog.
dog in the background.
I will take a dog
You see
video.
my dog is
that
back
was
here?
that was a ghost.
I think I saw
Yeah.
your dog in the corner of your couch. I didn't mean to freak you out. I just saw it before, and
What is
I'm a
behind
huge
you?
dog person. I know. I'm like,
What's
what do we got going on back there?
I have a dog. He is on the couch.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would have been more concerning if you were like, I don't have a dog.
Yeah.
I don't own
Or
a
if we were
dog.
like,
Yeah.
hey, who's that dude behind you?
Oh my God, I have seen people do that to people on like chat roulette or whatever, and it's hilarious.
Like, what is that?
I don't want to ruin it, but Jack, how about you?
So Jack Norman on Instagram, and then I do have a Facebook gaming page where I do share my movie stuff as well as play video games. And right now it's called the Game Hive, but it's going to be Goblin Jack in the future. So I'm going to change it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll have their Instagrams and everything in the description for the show and all of that good stuff. So once again, I appreciate everyone's time. I'm
Thank
really
you.
excited to see the movie, see what comes out, and when it gets closer, if you guys want to do this again, let's do this shit again.
Yeah.
Like I said, offer stands if you're ever in Chicago for a convention.
I've been there before
Bunch of
for
beers
that.
on-
Nice. I'm driving cross country,
Yeah.
so I may see. I'll definitely be in Ohio, so just get ready for the
Oof.
like drive by.
Make sure you
Spooky.
take-
I'm gonna be like, yo.
You got
I
to
can't
come to
remember what
Whorehound.
highway it is.
Ah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard Whorehound's incredible, but you got to see
best.
the Hell is Real sign in Indiana.
Oh,
I've been
We
to
have
the
one in
days for
Ohio.
that Chicago.
I was gonna say there's
Even
many.
Hell is Real sign in
There's
Ohio
many.
too?
Every farm town has that.
Yeah, I've seen many going
It's in
across
it's in
country.
Columbus, where I live.
Yeah.
Right
past
I
Columbus.
literally went downtown Columbus. That was it for the Arnold. So I never really spent a ton of time. And I went to a Waffle House once and feared for my life. But I think that's standard when you go to Waffle House.
Yeah.
Yeah. But awesome. Thank you guys again. I'll let you get on with the rest of all the fun shit you have to do. So yeah, you guys take care, and we will be in touch.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Take care.